welcome back to our channel. It's been a few months. A lot has been going on in our world. As you can tell, it's kind of looking a little more like empty on the walls over here. We are actually moving, but it has not quite gone according to plan originally.
No.
So we contemplated sharing this, but I really feel like this might be able to speak to somebody else. And so that's kind of why we wanted to go ahead and share this. Or even if it's just relatable content for somebody. I think sometimes you just need to feel like you can relate to other people. So that's kind of why we're going to be going into this. So Paul and I had put an offer on a house, about a month ago now, huh?
About a month ago.
And I'll be honest, I'm going to tell it from my perspective and then I'll kind of let Paul share some. But I don't know. My spiritual gift is discernment, and I feel like I should have known this more going into this. But when we had put an offer in, at first our offer didn't get accepted, and it was okay. It's fine. The market's crazy and competitive.
It wasn't
right
the
now.
First offer we had put in and wasn't accepted.
Yeah.
On a home, so.
And, but then we get a call back and our realtor's like, never mind, the other offer pulled out, so it's all yours. And I remember Paul being really excited, and I was like excited in a sense, but like inside, it just didn't feel right to me. And I was like, you can ask my mom. I literally called my mom, broke down with my mom on the phone at some point. I broke down with my office manager at some point. Like I haven't been like this in years. And like my emotions were, usually that should be something like more excited. Not to say you don't have a little emotions here and there, but like I was everywhere with my emotions. And I really think that was God's way of saying, stop. Don't go any further with this. But I was watching Paul and he was excited, and I did ask you, I was like, do you feel at peace with this?
Yeah, and I didn't have any reservations, and I mean, you say I was like really excited about it, and I mean, really excited is such a like broad statement. I was excited about it, but I mean to say I was like not cautious or not thinking about it would be inaccurate.
Yeah, I mean, you were still putting thought into it. I know that.
I didn't know about any of what you had later said, like talking of to your mom and all that. I didn't know anything about that. You didn't communicate that to me. I mean, besides the conversations that we had just about the home and stuff like that.
Yeah, which you knew I was emotional with this, and I don't know why. Like, it was extreme emotions on my end, and I can see now why. But anyway, so we kept proceeding. We had inspections done, and actually when they had inspections done, this is not normal, but the sellers ended up coming to the house because they needed to grab a couple of things. They have a little kid, so I'm assuming it had something to do with that.
So we got to meet both of them. Actually, we met her grabbing something, then he needed to come home and change.
Yeah, separately. They came
and then so he
times.
Came, and so we got to talk with him and meet with him, and also ask questions basically to him, and that's where we got information in regards to certain things. Not going to share all the details other than there was some things that were brought up and asked, and it was just kind of waved off, and we were like, oh, okay, we'll just get it on inspection. So inspection rolls around, and everything that was pointed out to us, and like when we were looking at it was pointed out, but then there was this one thing that was pointed out had to do with a crawl space, and we were recommended to go ahead and have a plumber come check out a couple things, anybody that could do crawl spaces. So we ended up doing that, and the plumber that we had did his job, and I think he did his job to about the best of his ability, but I don't think he was the right person for the job to make any kind of judgment call on certain things, looking at it now. So that happened. We thought we remedied the problem. We even made a fix to things. Inspection time passes. Appraisal comes. As appraisal comes, that's when the problem that had been previously thought to be taken care of,
as like, or like a minor issue,
had come back. And we go, okay, so this is obviously something that needs to be taken care of.
Well, to the point where the bank was not even going to offer us a loan for the house, like, because of this issue.
Right. So, with that being said, the particular problem was something that was not listed in the disclosure. So it was something that fell to the owners. And so the thing I just felt like about letting them handle it is I just want to make sure it's handled correctly and not cheap. Like, or you just throw a Band-Aid on it or lipstick and just call it good. I wanted documentation, like anybody I feel like would, like just saying, hey, what was done? What was the problem? Well, we never got any of that. And as like the story goes on, there's all kinds of things. Like we find out they got quotes to fix it, didn't use any of the people, ended up doing it themselves, so it wasn't up to code or anything that we know of. And then on top of that, they didn't even fix the problem. So all this is said and done, I offered to get my own person in there on our own dime, just to look at it, just to see what it's going to run me. The seller outright refuses.
They denied us access to even come in and inspect on our own money. And so that was a big red flag for me, or for both of us. But
it started out as like...
It started out just us wanting to know.
Right, but plausible excuses. Like, oh, well, we're moving that day, so we don't want anybody there, even though it's outside and it wouldn't bother them. And then I said, well, how about the day after? No, that doesn't work. Can you come and look at it sooner, like Friday? Can't do it. I can't get out there till Sunday. That's why I asked if I could come out there Sunday. All kinds of things like that. And they really wanted us to look at it quickly so that we could say, oh yeah, it looks fixed. And then like if something happened 4 days later and it came back or whatever the deal was, it would, be past whatever. And they were really trying to hustle butt to get the appraiser out there because it didn't appraise. Because they noted that issue, which is why we couldn't get the money. It didn't appraise for the full amount anyway, but that's something else. So wrapping it up, we just we had to sit down and have a conversation because they were not being cooperative. They're being withholding, all this stuff.
Like, if there's nothing wrong, why wouldn't they let us come in, even though they said they fixed the problem?
Or if there's a problem, let us come and assess it ourselves. We're as invested in this house as you are. You're selling it and we're buying it. We want to know.
Exactly.
And so there's just a lot of, I wouldn't even say miscommunication. It was just like little things, just like, I felt like it was like a divorce because we talk to our realtor who talks to the realtor who talks to them, and no one ever really gets to meet, kind of thing.
Yeah, there's always like third-party channels that you're having to
it's like playing telephone.
Yeah.
And to that point, you sometimes I just feel like I'm like, if I could just say please or just show up. Well, all that being said, we decided we weren't going to pursue the home, and this is like
even if
the
that
week
means
of closing. Our closing date was like 5 days away. And we said, well, when the appraiser comes out there to recheck the work that they had done, whether it was fixed or not, he was just going to see if the problem was technically remedied. That if it appraised, we were going to go ahead and at that point say, okay, we were not interested in the home anymore. So when that was communicated to the seller, that's when
that's when they wanted to start taking actual action because they're realizing how serious we are about this. Right. Which I think I have talked to multiple people about this, people who have had experience with home purchases before, and they're like, no, you are doing the right decision. Like, this is not...
It's not normal.
This is not normal. And like that could be 10 plus grand in damage underneath there. And we're already paying over what the house is worth.
With higher interest rates than a lot of things.
Yeah. Right and now, so we were just like, this is like we were just not really feeling at peace. We had already kind of made the decision today, and literally right before we started recording this video, my realtor, which is my godmother, calls me and says, hey, they are actually they took a look into it, and they figured out where the leak is coming from.
And to tell you, it was a leak under there.
Yeah.
So.
Which can be multiple things. Not only do you have water underneath the house, but that can cause foundational issues. Your water bill is skyrocketing, but also mold.
But no one could tell us where the water was coming from, which was the big question. And that's what we just wanted answered. And like, weren't really expecting them to fix it, although it would fall to them, and that's where
because it wasn't disclosed.
Right.
We should preface it wasn't disclosed.
And that was we already did.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, but that's what I'm sure they were concerned with, was that they were just trying to get it done, taken care of as quickly and as cheaply as possible, because they were looking to move out. They're already basically moved, and they had built a home, so they. Talk to our realtors, talk to us and say, hey, listen, they've figured out what it is. They got someone down there to look at it, and they're fixing it. They're fixing it. And then they said, if after that you would like to have your person come down there and check it out, he can do that. And we're listening to this call on speaker, and we're giving each other looks over the phone and just kind of like taking it in. And we told them, like, can you give us some time and we'll go ahead? And they said, yeah, take your time. I don't think it took us long, because I had shared that, when we had made the decision to go ahead and not pursue the home, it was like a weight was lifted. And we had asked the Lord to show us.
Yep. Like, Lord, if this is not the home for us, please make this so clear and evident.
Or things that are not, that we can't see, let them be known to us. And it was thing after thing after thing that was being shown to us. And you kind of took a little bit for granted, like, well, that's fixable. That's just something. And then, but when it stacks up and you look at it and you're like, we asked for this. Why? Well, we'd be a fool not to listen to what's going on here.
Yeah.
So that phone call just like left a knot in both our stomachs, and we just talked about it. And I was just like, I pictured myself immediately in the home with a frown on my face if we decided to pursue it. And I just was like, we're not excited. This isn't the right deal. And so we called right back right away, and they gave an answer, and they're like, hey, listen, we totally agree. We understand, it shouldn't be like this. First time home buyers. They said it's never this scary.
Yeah, like you should be excited and happy. And so they're very understanding, our realtors.
And dealing with people like that is, I guess, relatively uncommon.
Like, they're trying to pressure us in a sense to go through with this. And there's just no peace with that. And we prayed for that, and God has definitely given us an answer with this. And so, you think if you get that call, like, oh, never mind, they're fixing everything, like the house can be yours, that you would be excited.
It was that last-ditch effort to draw you in from the enemy. And I was like,
it was not
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to buy that.
Yeah, so ultimately right now where we're at, we had already ended the lease of our apartment.
We were at a prorate, like paying through
before this whole issue exploded, essentially. So now we are still moving out, and my in-laws, Paul's parents, have graciously offered for us to stay there for a few months just until we can find a home, which is such a big blessing, and we're very, very grateful for that. So we are going to probably be doing that just while we're looking for another home. And even if that looks like maybe moving to an apartment afterwards, whatever that looks like, but for now we have this season with them. But you know what, I'm excited, and I told Paul, I was like, I want to share this because it's like a journal. Like, I want to look back on this and think, thank God we didn't get that house, because what's going to be ahead of us. And I know it's something good. And so I wanted to make this more to encourage you guys. If there's something you're walking through right now that might be really hard or might seem like such a bummer, like, take heart, because seriously, God has something spectacular in store for you. And if you're not feeling at peace with a certain thing, that's your sign. Don't follow that path. And I mean, I've done that. I followed the wrong path. I've done that before. But listen to that little nudge inside of you.
Yeah, my father, we had a conversation during one of our many conversations throughout this entire thing. And he had relayed to me, he goes, that when pressure is applied, we tend to that's when we make rash or wrong decisions. There's rarely ever a right decision during something like that when the pressure's applied. And that was the thing that stuck with us too, where it was just like every second that there was something thrown, we had to remove ourselves from the situation to come back a little bit to just kind of go, that don't sound right. We did about everything we knew. Didn't feel like we were being difficult. I mean, big whoop. I don't think anybody would, he said, she said, whatever, would feel like we were being difficult. But, it's just one of those things where we were just trying to buy a home. That's what we wanted. And, I'm not even upset, because whatever God has for us coming up, it's just going to be better.
Yeah.
So.
And that I really have had I have been at such peace these past couple weeks, and some people might be like, well, you're moving in with your parents. I'm like, I think that society does frown upon that, and obviously this is not a permanent thing by any means, and we're again so grateful for that. But I have such a peace about going this direction with this, and just follow peace is the best thing. And some people are like, well, and sometimes you don't know until you actually kind of take a step out until what direction is peace and what direction is, not where you're supposed to be going. But I literally this past couple weeks, I have felt so much peace than from what I was feeling before, even though in the midst of this chaos and what could be a really traumatic experience, I have felt so much peace with our decision.
Good morning, guys. I'm currently out on our deck. It is moving day. It's bittersweet, but of course it's the hottest weekend of the year so far this weekend, and we live on the top floor in our apartment complex, but we've got friends and family coming to help, so we're very, very, very grateful for that. I just actually ran and got everybody some donuts, and we have some iced coffee and water bottles. But yeah, just giving you an update. I'll probably try to film a few little clips, but it's gonna be an extremely busy day. I told Paul I had already loaded up all my clothes yesterday and took them over to my in-laws' house, and I probably did 8 to 9 trips, maybe even 10 trips, up and down those stairs with all my clothes and shoes and stuff, and I'm in shape. My legs are pretty strong. I'm a former track runner. My legs are good. My arms are usually is the weakest part of me. My quads are really so sore, and I mean they were heavy bundles of clothes I was taking down. So definitely gonna get a workout in today, but thankful for our friends and family that are helping. We'll take most of everything to the storage unit, and then some stuff to my in-laws. But I'm currently outside here doing a little devotional. Just wanted to kind of have a quiet moment in my day today. Been climbing up these stairs all day today, up and down, up and down. We are saying goodbye to our first apartment. How do you feel, babe? We're hot, we're sweaty. It was over 100-degree weather today, and we got frozen food, so we gotta hurry. But apartment's been good to us. It's bittersweet, but we're excited for what lies ahead for us. So, but we're also really excited to rest tonight and take a shower.
This is what we've waited for, and this is it, boys. This is war. The president is on the line. There's 99 red balloons.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
God's got some really good things for
Got
us.
some really good things for us. He's got good things.
Yeah. And another completely update. Paul has new teeth. He got his teeth capped.
No one
Completely
cares.
different thing.
No one cares. No one cares. No one has cared, and no one will care. It'll be okay. They'll just think, oh, he's got good teeth. Now.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and staying tuned, because that just means there's a better video around the corner. Even though this isn't necessarily positive, but I hope it's relatable to people, and hopefully you can do the same thing and put your faith to it and follow peace. But anyways, we love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
On a red balloon, it's all over. I'm standing pretty in this dust that was our city. If I could find one souvenir just to prove the world was here, here it is, a red balloon, and I think of you and let it go.